Dear students, in this session we will discuss the condition for macroeconomic equilibrium in a three-sector model. A central notion in the Keynesian model of income determination is that equilibrium level of income and output requires that aggregate supply is equal to aggregate demand. Aggregate supply is equal to aggregate demand, or Y is equal to E. Y is equal to E, where Y is total output, aggregate supply or GDP. E is aggregate demand or desired expenditure on output. And in a three-sector economy, aggregate demand consists of three components. One is household consumption expenditure, C, desired consumption expenditure by households. Desired business investment, I, and government purchases of goods and services, G. E is equal to C plus I plus G. So, the condition for equilibrium is Y is equal to E is equal to C plus I plus G in a three-sector economy. And as I have told you in the last class, we consider national income accounting identities for the three-sector model by making some simplifying assumptions to accounting identities. A closed economy, depreciation is assumed to be zero, net business taxes are or indirect taxes are assumed to be zero. So GNP, GDP, NNB, NDP, etc. are assumed to be equal. Also, there is a difference between national income and personal income, disposable income, etc. that we have considered. It is also assumed that the aggregate price level is fixed. All variables are assumed to be real variables. And this is because of a special kind of aggregate supply function which we have considered. Now, with these simplifying assumptions, we can write national income accounting identities from the product side as Y is equal to C plus IR plus G, from the income side as C plus S plus T. Identities, these are two measures of aggregate supply, C plus IR plus G, C plus S plus T. Now, remember this, these are identities, national income identities or accounting definitions or accounting identities, and this equation says that national income is distributed to households as payment for factor services, and households utilize a part of it for consumption, part of it for savings, part of it for giving taxes to the government. And this identity says that national product is equal to consumption, realized investment, and government purchases. That is, national product is used for consumption, realized investment and government spending. Using the definitions of macroeconomic equilibrium, namely y is equal to E is equal to C plus I plus G, we can write the condition for equilibrium in two alternative ways. One is C plus S plus T is equal to C plus I plus G. C plus S plus T is equal to C plus I plus G, so that S plus T is equal to I plus G. This is one way of writing the condition for equilibrium. The second one is C plus IR plus G is equal to C plus I plus G. C plus IR plus G is equal to C plus I plus G, so that IR is equal to I, the second way of writing equilibrium condition. Similarly, using the third, we can write one more condition as y is equal to C plus I plus G. So, equilibrium condition can be written either as y is equal to C plus I plus G, S plus T is equal to I plus G, or IR is equal to I. Now, let us see these equations in a little detail. We know that production of a given level of output generates an equivalent amount of income to the households. Now, the question is how the households utilize the income received from participating in the process of production. Now, the households spend a part of their income for consumption. Then, a part of the income generated during the production process is used by the business firms to purchase machinery and equipments, desired investment expenditure, and a part is government spending on final goods and services. So, this is what the first definition says. The second definition is that S plus T is equal to I plus G. That is, this equilibrium condition can be stated differently as S plus T is the leakage from the income flow. I plus G is the injection to the income flow. So, this second condition says that for equilibrium level of income and output, leakages from the income flow will be balanced by injections to the income flow. That means what is not spent by households on the purchases of goods and services, S plus T, must be equal to the spending by business firms and government. Then only equality between aggregate supply and aggregate demand will be maintained. The third condition for equilibrium states that realized investment must be equal to what is known as desired investment. Desired investment and realized investment will be equal. That is the third condition for equilibrium. Our macroeconomic equilibrium occurs if desired investment expenditure is equal to actual investment expenditure. Now the question is, how realized investment differs from desired investment? Let us see how. A GDP accountant calculates investment as total expenditure on capital and other equipments by business firms. A GDP accountant calculates total business expenditure on equipments and other capital goods as plus inventory investment. And as we have seen, IR consists of business fixed investment and change in inventories. Residential construction is ignored for simplicity. We assume that actual spending on plant and machinery is equal to desired spending on plant and equipment. Actual spending on plant and equipment is assumed to be equal to desired spending on plant and equipment. And in the case of inventory, actual and desired will be different. In the case of inventory investment, actual and desired will be different. A national income accountant record all goods produced but not sold as inventory investment. Remember this. We calculate national income from the product side using expenditure approach. So only goods and services sold in the market will be calculated by national income accountant. Those goods produced but not sold will be considered as inventory investment by the national income accountant. Now to see how I and IR differ. Suppose what happens when the level of output differs from or exceeds demand. That is, when Y exceeds E. Y exceeds E. When output exceeds E, C plus IR plus G exceeds C plus I plus G, or IR exceeds I. When output exceeds expenditure, demand, inventory investment exceeds desired. That means there is unintended inventory accumulation. Unintended inventory accumulation. On the other hand, if Y is less than E, then IR is less than I. In the second case, when output falls short of desired expenditure, then there will be unintended inventory shortfall. And in both cases, output will change. If Y is greater than E, firms realize that there is unintended inventory accumulation. They realize that their output exceeds demand. So in the next period, they will reduce production so as to reduce inventories. If Y is less than E, they realize that their output production is less than what is demanded. So they will give new orders produce more output, generate more income in the next period, so as to replenish inventory shortfalls. When Y is equal to E, entrepreneurs realize that they produced the correct amount and they will continue to produce the same level of output in the succeeding periods. And this is the case of equilibrium. And in this case, IR is equal to I. So in a three-sector economy, macroeconomic equilibrium is defined as aggregate supply is equal to aggregate demand, total injections is equal to total leakages is equal to total injections, or realized investment is equal to desired investment. In the two-sector economy, this is Y is equal to C plus I and S is equal to Y, or IR is equal to Y. In the three-sector economy, what is added here is T and G are added. That is all. That is the condition for macroeconomic equilibrium in a three-sector economy consisting of households, business firms and government.